Hello, this is Dave here.
And it's Tom as well.
And today we're taking a look at Valkyria Chronicles on PlayStation 4. So this game's been out for quite a while now on PlayStation 3 and it's also been ported to PC. So I guess the question here, Tom, is whether or not we're looking at a remaster for PlayStation 4 or a straight port.
Right, so we've seen quite a few remasters this generation already, but Valkyria Chronicles wasn't exactly one of the most graphically progressive games. It had style though, that was the main selling point. And so when it comes to a remaster, you're not really looking to have a complete overhaul, just a good representation of what was already there. So what have we got here in terms of resolution and all those technical bits?
Okay, so we're comparing the PlayStation 4 up against PC, and in terms of resolution we've got native 1080p on the PlayStation 4 game. Now because the game is quite an artistically soft title, it doesn't really come across as a full HD presentation.
No, and actually it looks a bit softer on PC. Why is that?
Well, I think there are two distinct reasons here. First is that the post-process anti-aliasing is actually a bit more refined on PlayStation 4, so it doesn't tend to blur edges and texture details quite as much.
Right.
And the other is the level of anisotropic filtering is also higher on PlayStation 4, so on PC distant textures get blurred over.
Alright, I can see it across the rows. It's kind of a lighter look the further you look into the distance. You can kind of see it on walls. It's very subtle, but it is definitely there. And I wonder, is there any way to improve the settings on PC with filtering, or is it just that's the default and you can't shift it?
Well, we can't really get any improvement by changing settings in the game, but what we can do is use NVIDIA's DSR, or downsampling.
And that's for the resolution?
Yes. So what we've got here on the left, we've got PC running in native 1080p, and on the right, we're running the game in 4K, downsampled to 1080. And what this does is give us much sharper image quality.
So in theory, you could turn off the PC's kind of blurry anti-aliasing mode and just use DSR instead for a super sampled image.
Well, the blurry anti-aliasing mode can't actually be disabled,
dear.
all we have to work with is boost the resolution as far as we can and then downsample, so it gives us the extra level of sharpness, but unfortunately it doesn't solve the sort of texture blurring issue. We don't really get as much clarity as on PlayStation 4 even when we do this, but you know, it's the best we can get from the PC version.
Okay, so PS4 versus PC, any visual differences besides the image, or is that pretty much it?
The only other thing that sort of occasionally sticks out is there's slightly more in the way of grass and foliage on PlayStation 4, and draw distances extended a little bit further. So, you know, things like trees appear fuller at longer range, that kind of stuff.
So nothing game-changing, but just some nice touches.
Yeah, just a bit of extra refinement there.
Okay, so that is PS4 versus PC. How does it compare to the older original PS3 version? I remember really enjoying this back in the day, and actually one of the biggest distractions with it was the presentation. It was running at 720p, and I don't remember any anti-aliasing on top of that. It was very raw looking image. So I imagine going to PS4 is a pretty big boost.
Yeah, definitely. I think the resolution here is pretty much the biggest upgrade we get going to PlayStation 4, particularly with regards to sort of clarity on the edges. Things don't look quite as rough overall, it's just a bit smoother, a bit more kind of polished in that respect. And of course the added benefits of things like the higher levels of anisotropic filtering means that texture details stand out more clearly. All the usual things you'd expect going from 720 to 1080p.
Excellent, and the level of detail settings are also broadened, which kind of makes use of that extra pixel count because you can see further into the distance and you're going to notice the shortcomings of the sort of nearer draw distance on PS3. So it's good that's been extended.
Yeah, indeed. PlayStation 3 pretty much sits at the lowest rung of all the three versions, you know, in terms of the level of detail and that kind of stuff. It's a little bit below PC. But overall, yeah, going to PS4 is a nice big upgrade.
Okay, so let's move on to performance. Now, this was a 30 FPS game originally.
Yeah, that's right, but on PlayStation 4 we're looking at 60 frames per second now, so we're looking at a doubling in frame rate.
Which isn't necessarily what you need from a game like this. It's kind of a real-time strategy with some maneuverability when you're in your movement phase, but besides that, you're not doing any fine aiming or anything like that. So 30 FPS wasn't a big deal back in the day, but 60, not a bad upgrade.
I've noticed during gameplay there's not really much benefit there, like you say, you know, it's a slow-paced game, so we don't really need extra sort of accuracy with controls and stuff. But one area where I do find the frame rate improves things is when you're scrolling the map screen and when the action transitions from the map to gameplay. gameplay is visibly smoother on PS4, and the transition just isn't as jarring, that you don't get that extra judder. But that's pretty much it. It's a nice to have the upgrading frame rate, but it's not really essential in terms of actually improving the gameplay there.
Alright, so that's about it then.
Yep, so that's it. Overall, we're looking at extremely solid port, which is excellent on both PlayStation 4 and the PC. So yeah, if you're a fan of the PS3 original and you'd like to double dip, I definitely recommend you check the remaster out. Anyway, so that's all we've got for you guys today. Don't forget to give us a like if you enjoyed this analysis, and remember to subscribe to support Digital Foundry. This has been Dave.
And it's been Tom.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.